right. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Wel-
everyone. Welcome
Welcome
to the
to.
ongoing nightmare that is the disgrace of the United
Oh,
States.
okay. You're going really hard in. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet, Crystal.
Mia, we were just gone for 2 weeks, and when we got back on, it was nothing but what the hell?
It's pretty much just been what the hell. So, anyways, welcome to As the Pages Turn. I am your lovely host, Mia. This is your other lovely host, Madam Crystal Butterfly. And we are here to do we're going to do a round table today. I'll be honest. There's too much crap.
Way
There
too
is
much. We
too
can't
much
even
crap.
take 2 weeks off to
Too
handle
much.
stuff, worry about our books, all of that, because we are authors. We don't even get 2 weeks off for that. No, we leave for 5 seconds and too much because of this fool is going on.
I know. We can't even I had a death in the family. Crystal has had we've had a lot of shenanigans, okay? We've had a lot of life stuff. So we took a break. And I mean, and this is really, I want to say this is like a true thing, I think, for how all Americans are feeling is like, you can't even take a week off because the minute you turn your head away, shit hits the fan and it's always bad. There's some funny kind of admits the disturbing truth of the fascism we're in now. Happy fascist month, I guess.
I don't like fascism. It's so aggravating. You don't even have any fun. It's just being depressing 24/7.
I know. And it's just, we can't even turn our back for a minute. And it's like 10 different announcements. So today we were like, okay.
Man, I trust leaving a toddler in the room by themselves for 3 hours more than I trust this administration.
I would trust a toddler by themselves for a freaking day compared to the people in our government. Honestly, not gonna lie. So we're going to do a round table. So we have 5 topics that kind of branch out to different areas. We're going to try to hit them all. We're going to try to kind of give a synopsis of what's going on. And then we're going to go from there and kind of we give our own opinions, all good stuff. And I should say, because I feel like, especially for our political episodes, we definitely have to say allegedly, and these are our opinions. So these are, now most of the stuff we've looked up is hard, cold fact. But
and we will put our sources in the comments below.
We have a lot of interpretation based on our life experiences. And I've heard other podcasts doing this, so I was like, I might as well just get on this train early of like, hi, you guys, we're not experts on anything. We are just experts on our lives. And so that's where the opinions
and on the things we write.
Right. So, feel free. I always tell, and have I not, how many times do I say the word research, Crystal?
Compulsively, even when we're not on this doing the podcasting thing, you bring up research. Heck, if I tell you something, you ask me to sing you the source.
Exactly. So I will tell you, and I encourage you, I enforce the fact that you need to research this stuff for yourself. But with that said, with our blankets, can't blame us, don't put us in jail, and ICE don't fucking come for us. Welcome to As the Pages Turn Political.
And if ICE does, you guys will know why we were gone for so long. So make sure to hit up the detention facilities.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we're our first topic, I think, is the most obvious one, right? There's a government shutdown.
Yeah.
Again.
Yay, people are going to starve. Oh,
and so currently, federal employees are not getting paid. A lot of federal employees have been furloughed. And in theory, they're supposed to either have some agreement of them getting paid or some kind of money coming after the fact. But our government can't even fucking agree on that shit. And there's a few bones of contention about this, right? There's a few reasons what's going on. But I think the universal truth here is it fucks everybody. And by the way, when a government is shut down and federal employees are having to work without getting paid, this means, VA employees. This means food stamp employees. This means there's tons of federal employees who are not getting paid, air traffic, like all these people.
And a lot of people who contract with the government, their companies have to furlough them because they don't have the money anymore because the government ain't paying.
And by the way, some of the deals that they've tried to make of the latest one was, we'll pay some of the employees, but not the furloughed ones. What are you guys even talking? Like
they have money for this fucking ballroom and the supposed Arctic tryout. But they don't have money to pay people who do their jobs, unlike them.
Right. So it's a whole like it's just absurd is what it is. And so basically the bone of contention right now and what's been going on, supposedly there's a couple facts. The government is
Mia,
shut
real
down.
quick, my mom wanted me to throw in the fact that also, in addition to the stuff they supposedly have money for, ICE is getting a bonus.
Yeah, and ICE is getting their money. Yes, no, that is true. That's actually been talked about. The fact that ICE is getting their money currently that they got from Congress, but federal employees aren't. So we'll talk about ICE. ICE is on the menu. We
ICE is always on the menu.
I almost want to change the name of actual ICE because I feel like it's being constantly disrespected. So, but we'll get into that later. So what's going on now is that the shutdown's in the third week. It's Republicans versus Democrats, of course. And
the Republicans have all the power to end it.
Yeah. So the numbers are 1.4 million in federal employees are on unpaid leave or working without pay. We have the Trump administration, which is moving to lay off 4,000 workers, but this has been blocked by a federal judge, by the way. And this is, by the way, this information is coming from the BBC, because this is one of the articles I found about this to kind of get the number facts.
At this point, we can trust the BBC more than our own media. That is sad.
That very, very sad. So basically, the Republicans control everything, but according to them, they have no power. They're just floating in the wind, and it's always the Democrats. And then, the Democrats say it's the Republicans, which really here, honestly, it is the Republicans.
Yeah, this time hardcore is the Republicans. You can't really dispute that.
But at the same time, I will say this and keep saying, I used to be a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm progressive. Because Democrats have fucked shit up on their own, too. And they have... Because
like they did the last election with that whole, we shouldn't, blah, 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 or we need to be more gentle. I'm tired of gentle
stuff. That's the thing is, Democrats just, especially, and we'll call it out, the elitist, there are elitist Democrats. They're real, they're there.
The corporate Democrats, we can't ignore them.
And they control the money. And because they control the money, they have made a lot of fucking poor decisions. So because, and let's just talk about our two-party system is fucking failing. That end of the story, right? End of the story. Both parties have fucked up. Both parties are failing. So right now, but the current fight right now is that the Republicans control everything, but they don't have enough votes to force the bill through that they have, right? But the problem is, and I'll give the Democrats credit because the thing that they're fighting over is actually very important. So
they're fighting for insurance.
So what they want, because there's this subsidies. So basically everybody kind of gets a break on health insurance in the health insurance market, right? And part of that break, the subsidy, if you're under a certain amount of money, comes from the government, but this is about to expire. And so these tax credits that are about to expire, the Democrats want that on the spending bill. They're like, look, we don't, basically what it comes down to is they don't trust the Republicans to actually deal with this issue when I think it expires.
And they shouldn't, because Republicans never do.
Right. And so you can't exactly blame them for not trusting. And so the Democrats, to be fair, are holding firm. So it's like what, day 25, day 26. And they are holding firm that they want, and they don't even really want an agreement on it. They just want a date set in stone on this bill that the Republicans will agree to talk about it. So like, they're not even really demanding what they should be. And then on top of that, this bill, because, of course, the Republicans, the party of the people, want to cut
the God-fearing Christians.
Well, they want to cut all the money to government health agencies on top of this as part
that
of this
bill. That is such a Christian thing to do. I will be emphasizing that hypocrisy a lot because I'm tired of it.
And so because of this, flights have gotten canceled or delayed because of shortage of air traffic controllers, who, by the way, these poor people, if you're an air traffic controller, my heart goes out to you because you guys are fucked. They are having shortages.
You work several hours and now you have to work Uber just to pay the bills.
And they don't even get money. They're not even getting fucking paid for the job that is saving lives. Like, without air traffic controllers, all the planes would crash and burn and die.
Yeah, without them, we're screwed.
Pretty much. So it's just wild to me that they're just, it's whatever. It's no big deal. And by the way, let's just be for sure and be for real that both Democrats and Republicans are still getting paid. they're still getting paid for their
and
job.
I'll also hand it to the Democrats. They emphasize the fact that they're all still getting paid.
And they're being upfront about it. That's true. Now, here is the kind of the side issue that we're also going to talk about with this. There's a big thing coming up right now where, according to food stamps, or SNAP as it's known, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And this is a program that benefits people who are low income, who have had, whether you've been unemployed, whether you have, you have a disability and you need the money to support for food. Because, by the way, disability, anytime people think of a disability, they're like, oh, well, they get paid. They have it so easy. No, they do not.
People with disability get hundreds of thousands of dollars. They barely really make enough to survive.
Yes, they probably get less than probably minimum wage, honestly, for the money they get monthly. So they have to have food stamps to offset the money they need to spend, because a lot of the other money is going to medications, stuff they need in their life to deal with their disability. Like, there's a lot of issues, right?
Mia, I would like to take this moment while we're talking about disabilities and stuff to talk about the toast bitch.
Okay, we'll get to her. We will. I promise.
Okay, because we need to talk about that and SNAP.
We will. We'll get to her.
She needs to be talked about.
I'll finish up with it. Hold on. So basically, according to what's being said, the government is saying they're not going to pay out SNAP for November. And because by the way, there's 41 million people. So you think 41 million, because everybody wants to be like, oh, well, people who use SNAP and food stamps are poor and they're lazy. I'm sorry, 41 million people are poor and lazy. Poor, yes. Lazy,
a lot of those people they're calling poor and lazy a lot of times work 2 to 3 jobs and they still don't make enough to make ends meet.
And a lot of them
criticizing them because they're working and can't afford stuff. That's not their fault.
Because I can tell you, to get on SNAP, having been on it as an adult and as a child, to get on SNAP is not fucking easy. It's easier for parents with kids, but by a very little. You have to do a lot of reporting in. You have to do, it's 3-month check-ins. And if you're a single adult, you have to be having some kind of physical job search. You already have to be applying for, you have to be on top of your game, and you have to be doing everything you can to try to make money before they'll even kind of let you on the program. So I don't know where this idea has come from. And it's been around for years, because I remember having to deal with it when I was a kid and I was on food stamps. There's this idea that oh, it's so easy to get it, you just walk it. No, it's not. You have to meet a certain criteria.
It's not.
You know, by the way, the money for a single adult to get food stamps, you cannot be making over $1,000. I think it's $1,200 a month. Do you know how much money
I know y'all think that everybody uses food stamps to buy fancy lobster dinners and caviar and all that other stuff, but I do not think they can pay for that.
As someone who's had it as an adult and as a child, I can promise you can't. By the way, fun fact, most people don't know this. You can't use food stamps for hot food. You can only use it for supermarket food. And by the way, the little, and if you're a single adult, you're only going to get I had a friend who had food stamps. He's a vet, by the way. He's a vet who is being paid by the VA and served this country. He got, I believe his food stamp was $20 to $80 a month. Yeah, wow, that's how much money they gave him. Yeah, how $20, and I'm not kidding. For 2 of the months he was on it, he got $20.
$20, man, he's really rolling in the Benjamin.
Right? As a vet, and this was last year or the year before. $20, what does that pay for? That pays for 4 or 5, not even 4. I mean, right now it pays for 2 items, but before it paid for 3 or 4 items, and he would still have to use most of his benefits to pay for food, and he would still have to go to the food pantry too. So people are thinking, oh, they're getting hundreds of, no, a lot of times if you're a single adult, for those people who are unemployed and trying to find a job, which is not fucking easy, by the way, having just gotten out of the job search round myself, for 7 months I was unemployed. It is not fucking easy. You're working your butt off trying to find a job, and then you get this little amount. It's not even enough really to survive on. So and the people who get the money are the parents with kids, and now obviously because kids need to eat, right? So you're thinking about the fact that they're literally going to be cutting off 41 million people in November are not going to have money. Now, the disgusting news that's come out about this is according to one of the spokespeople for the I believe it's the SNAP, the department that controls SNAP. They have 5 billion in reserves specifically for SNAP. And Donald Trump is the first president in US history to deny that. He literally, they came to him and said, look, we have money as a backup just in case a shutdown happens. And he refuses to let that money be used for next month. So it's not even, by the way, it's not even that just people are not going to get SNAP next month. It's that our president of our country is literally not allowing the agency to give out money to the people.
Yes, more people must starve for absolutely no reason.
Exactly. Because, you know, if
it's not about he doesn't like poor people.
If it's not about the fucking Orange Oompa heaven forbid. Heaven forbid it's not about him.
And yeah, because the world just revolves around everything he wants.
Right. And so now we're going to talk about the Toast Lady because
she
is what we will. I'm not going to name her because she's already, trust me.
You guys will find her easily if you look her up. We're not going to say her name or anything.
The Toast Lady, just look up Toast Lady because trust and believe the internet got a hold of her ass and chewed it up and spit it out. So
yeah, we need to also talk about the AI too. But yeah, Toast Lady first.
We'll deal. Well, yeah.
Well, no, it's just because we can talk about that for half a second after we're done with her.
Yeah, so we'll just mention her briefly because again, we do have other topics.
Yeah, we got a lot of other stuff. So Toast Lady and AI.
So as a part of this, there's a little part of this where the internet has actually like come through on a happy note. So we'll end this part of the round table on a happy note. So there's this Toast Lady who made a video eating some dry ass toast that nobody wanted, by the way, and is basically going off
and gloating about it.
Yes, and basically going off about, well, why didn't you, where did your October money go to? Obviously fucking for October food, dumbass.
For food. Well, I mean, she must think people get tens of $1,000s in that.
She doesn't.
It can only pay for a few items a month.
Would you like to know a fun fact about her, Crystal, that I found out after I started deep diving her ass? Because I did.
Tell me.
I did. She actually has been on food stamps before. There's videos that popped up of her being on food stamps. So, like, here's somebody who has had to use, but by the way, Crystal, she made it very clear. Well, I only used it for the 3 months that I was supposed to, and I only used it for food. Well, yeah, that's what the fuck everybody does.
That's what it's for, and that's the only thing it'll freaking pay for. What did you think people are using it to buy a Hyundai?
Right. Oh, she's just ridiculous. So anyway, she made this video about just eating some toast, like, oh well, you guys are gonna do this, and where's your October money? You should just stretch, like. So here's the thing, but then the internet got mad because the internet's like, okay, bad enough our government is fucking with people, but this random ass person who's trying to be like a health influencer or something is like trying to talk down to people, right? So the internet took that check she wrote and cashed it on her ass. And how this happened is they looked her ass up. They found out she has 2 jobs, by the way. They found out one of the jobs she has, and they started tagging her job in the video and said, oh, is this who represents you? So we don't know for sure, but my understanding is the company then came out with a statement shortly thereafter to say, no, this person doesn't represent our views. And then she made a video basically whining and moaning about how actions have consequences because, oh my God, surprise.
Yeah, she learned that the hard way.
And so supposedly people think she has now been fired from this job. I don't know for sure, but it's just very interesting. And by the way, she did like a half-ass, like she didn't even do an apology, by the way. She just did like a half-ass video basically whining about how, again, consequences have actions. And then, but that got deleted. So, and
I am going to say this story really quick as one of the people who responded to her, because I feel like this really hit home, because I was upset when I saw her video, and I liked hearing this person's story because it was somebody, when he was a kid, he was on food stamps. His mom, I guess, was a single parent. They didn't have a lot. He was on food stamps, and the lunch lady even noticed that he needed extra help. So she would always just make sure to give him a little extra food at lunchtime so he could, not be hungry all the time.
Yeah.
Combined with, she even, spoke to his mother and convinced her to let him and his brother come over for the holidays and celebrate with them.
Yeah.
And he made the point. People like that, they like to do their whole good Christian talk and blah, blah, blah lines, but you're supposed to actually, if somebody needs a little help, actually help. Give them a shot to be able to help themselves and do better. That's what you're supposed to do. Not go and mock everybody who's going through something, because people don't choose to be on food stamps in the sense that that was a goal in their life. People aren't aiming to be on food stamps like, oh yeah, that's the dream. They're there because they have to be. And all they're asking for is a little bit of help. And I am going to say this one final thing also with the food stamp issue, just because I do feel we need to briefly mention it. There are a ton of AI videos that are basically doing what the toast woman did. There's one even somebody made on that Sora thing of a plump woman who has put her groceries on the conveyor belt and is screaming at the clerk about how she's going to steal these stuff because, you know, her food stamps were cut off. Okay, outside the fact, if you're going to rob a grocery store, you would not put your food on the conveyor belt to be checked out first.
Right.
I'm just saying this in general. Be careful, people, because that was one of the ones that looked really real. Be careful, because they're making these fake AI videos about food stamp recipients because they are trying to encourage the idea that people on food stamps are lazy, dishonest, and mock them like they're fat.
Yeah, I mean, but that's been a constant thing. That's been
I'm just saying because they said that they have been flooding the internet lately, so I'm bringing that up because people who eat this stuff may have even seen it.
We've had that before, where when I was a kid and we were getting stamps, there was like, oh well, you're just poor white trash. Like
you just don't want to work.
Yeah, and so it's like, and my mom was a single parent who was taking care of me. Like she was crazy down the road, but like she was a single parent taking care of me in not a great neighborhood. And so literally we had to get SNAP, I think, on and off for like a year or two. And
she had no other options. It's not like she wasn't trying to work.
Exactly. So it's like people want to talk shit, but it's like if you were in the same circumstances, if you were a single parent with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 kids, if you were somebody who's been unemployed for 7 months, you can't get a job. If you are somebody who is down on the worst of times, you would then suddenly your whole view of this would suddenly fucking change, right? Because then you would be like, oh, I want to take advantage of what the system is offering me to help get me up so I can get back to a better place. But then people who are not in that situation want to look down on it and judge people. And it's like, here's a fun story though. For every time that you're judging somebody else, have you been in their shoes? No.
Exactly.
So then why are you assuming you know what the fuck they're going through? Again, assumptions make a fucking ass out of you, and you should know that, you know?
Yeah. You should never pretend like you know everything about a person's life by just staring at them.
Exactly. And assume like, oh well, the Republican rhetoric or these these ads that I see or this or that. Okay, well that's great. But then have you talked to somebody who's actually on food stamps? See, I don't give a fuck for your opinion. If you have not been on it, if you have not been in that life experience, if you have not known somebody who's had those situations, I don't really care about your opinion on this. You know why? Because what the fuck do you know? If you have not lived in it, you have not been in it, then how are you talking from any point of experience? You've
never been forced into that situation, and you're glorifying it like this is massive money deal. It's not. I think what is the most people can get? 300 something? I can't remember, but
yeah, basically, yeah.
That doesn't go very far.
It doesn't. And the thing is like, it's like when a man tries to tell a woman how hard it is to be a woman. I as a woman am not going to fucking take any of that shit seriously. I would be the same if I were a guy and some woman was telling me how it is to be a guy. Like, I wouldn't take that shit seriously. So then why are any of you trying to talk out of your, it's ridiculous. So anyways,
it is. All they like to do is talk out of their butts. But anyway, to the next stressful topic.
But yeah, so to end that part one, basically, like, I feel bad for all the people, especially the parents with children and adopted children.
And it's the holiday season. You think about it, they won't have a good holiday dinner, most likely.
And not even that, they just don't have food.
Their turkey sales right now, a lot of them probably can't even afford to take advantage of the sale.
And not even that, but then you have food pantries that are running out of food. I mean, I have a friend who volunteers at a food pantry. He literally was telling me the other day that they were supposed to get like all these pallets of food for the food pantry, and they only got half delivered because that's all the people had to give. because everybody, including corporations, some corporations don't need to tighten their belt and they're fucking ridiculous. But there are some places that give food that can't afford to, and they do it anyways.
Exactly.
But, so it's like.
And we have to combine that with they also got rid of a lot of the people who pick the food. So we're even going to have less this holiday season, in addition to people not being able to afford what is here.
Yeah. So then it's going to be a sucky November and a sucky December for people. And I feel bad for them because really they're suffering because Oompa Loompa doesn't want to have to let go of money ever. It doesn't matter if it's not him and not.
Well, it only affects the poors who he doesn't have to look
doesn't
at.
Care about.
So you poor people just go unalive for all he cares.
Why do we exist? Okay, so that was our first happy, delightful topic.
Yay, so joyful.
Right, this is why we roundtabled this shit, because there was too many topics. The next one
way too many.
Is going to be a quicker one. This is about the list of E, okay? And I'm not going
to because release the list.
I don't know if YouTube is going to dox us or not, so we'll be calling it the list of E, okay? And
release it.
I'm only bringing this up because honestly, to me, out of all the topics that we have to talk about, this one is kind of like just the stupidest of them, because it's just so ridiculous that it's like, it just boggles my mind that it's this serious of an issue. I mean, obviously, hold on. Let me preface this by saying, obviously, all the people on the list of E should be released. We should know who the fuck they are.
Yeah, I don't care. Like the Republicans saying, "Oh, what if Bill Clinton's on there?" I'm like, so if he's on there, he's on there. Then give it to us.
I don't care who it is. If you're on that list of where you partied and took part in things where children were being taken advantage of, feel free to get off the island. Like, you're voted off. You are the weakest link. Get the fuck out of here.
But exactly. I don't care. I don't care if it's somebody I voted for or championed or something like that. If they are on that list, they are. Fuck you. I'm locking you up.
Exactly. So here's why I bring this up, because reporters, of course, everybody wants this list. And actually, what I've heard is that the victims of E have been trying to compile their own list to release because they're fucking tired of waiting on the government. Now, fun story, why is the
if anything, them doing that may help us finally get the E list down.
And I mean, how many stories have we heard of where this list is? I mean, I think we've heard everything, but except it's buried with Jimmy Hoffa. Like, really, this list is. We've heard so many excuses for like.
Yeah, I've actually seen one YouTuber make several shorts. TikToker. I wish I could remember his name.
Yeah.
He makes shorts nonstop. I think I sent you a couple where he's running with the list, trying to get it out, being chased by the cops.
Yeah. And it's literally, and here's the fun story about this, right? Why is this such a big issue? Because obviously, like, people going hungry and the ice crap, big enough stories of like, why are we talking about this list? But it's because of how the Oompa Loompa is acting that this is even a big deal, because basically they're trying to get the government. And so Oompa Loompa, by the way, has said at several different points, oh, we'll release it. No big deal. And then he'll go back on it real quick. Oh, well, it's not important. We don't need to. Now, what's gotten more interesting is that the more questions the reporters ask, and mind you, reporters, they are on top of it. I feel like every reporter has a list with the E list on top of it. Like, that is on their, that's like their first question of the day to him. Where is the list, sir?
Yep, even as disappointed as I have been with much of the mainstream media, even many of them have been asking, where's the list? And I'm proud of the independent media, because every 5 seconds they're like, where's the list?
Yeah. So basically what's interesting, this is why we're talking about this, because in recent months, Oompa Loompa Man is doing everything he can to not talk about it. And this includes reviving conspiracy theories. Let me just name some of the conspiracy theories. So he's literally talked about, I think the latest one is about the fact that Obama committed treason. That was the latest diversion.
Majority of his diversions involve President Obama or President Biden, usually President Obama.
And then there's also been, like, Tulsi Gabbard is trying to say that Obama and Hillary Clinton tried to orchestrate a coup against Trump. There was, and then Trump trying to go after Adam Schiff, who's a senator, about financial wrongdoing because he was asked about the list. What else? There's like several things he's done.
Mia, I've heard better lies from a 2-year-old. I literally have.
Didn't he release? Wasn't there something about Martin Luther King? Oh, Martin Luther King files. Yeah. He literally released the Martin Luther King files in order. And that was in July. So
and it was mostly stuff about Dr. King we already knew.
I know. So like they're literally doing since May or June or maybe even before that, they're doing everything they can, everything to delay this list coming out, because if you don't know it, let us be the force to inform you. Why is he trying to hide this list? Well, there is pictures, there's so much evidence they were friends, it's not even funny. He tries to say now, oh, I knew him vaguely. But like, there's pictures, there's videos.
That was they his best friend. Together. Like this guy, I don't think he's capable of being a real friend to anybody. That was the closest person he had to being a best friend. I mean,
honestly, if he were still alive, him and Putin would have to fight it out for who's his best friend, because they were both his besties. Like, so
Putin's not his friend; he's just his handler.
Oh, yeah, well, right. Well, no, now they're mad at each other. That's a whole bromances, man. They never last, do they?
Bromance my foot. Watch. He waits for Putin to call like a 2-year-old waiting for their dad in jail to call.
I know, right? So anyways, he and him were besties. They were best friends. And there's a lot of evidence that Oompa Loompa Man attended half these parties. Maybe not half, but at least I would say at least 25% of them. So basically, the overall assumption is, and I did just say assumptions make an ass out of you and me, but here I think we have a lot of evidence that kind of backs this up with between the videos, the infamous birthday card now. Like, there's so much evidence to back up the fact that they were best friends.
And to those who don't know what the birthday card is, Trump sent a birthday card to Epstein talking about secrets, and he drew the image of what looked like a pubescent child on there.
Well, it was supposed to be a woman or something, but regardless, just look
it looked up, more like a teenager, but yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they were besties. And so there is a big assumption here that Oompa Loompa Man is not only on the list, but maybe at the top of the list. And so they were supposed to have released it. I think Pam Bondi was supposed to have released it once or twice. And then somehow half her stories have been, oh, we don't have it, to, oh, it's not important. Why do you care? Well, if it's not important and nobody cares, then fucking release it. What's your issue? Why?
And well, I already know MAGA Mike Johnson is most definitely on this list, as desperate as he is not to confirm the woman who recently won her election, because she's going to sign that thing to release the list.
I don't know that Mike Johnson is on it. I just think Mike Johnson
he's
trying to be, because he didn't really know them. But here's where Mike Johnson comes in. Speaker of the House, by the way, third in line if anything happens to Oompa Loompa and his supposed dementia. We'll say allegedly, but I mean, I'm pretty confirmed that he has it.
It's pretty blatant. We'll say allegedly, even though it's blatantly obvious.
Very fucking blatant, people. And I've worked with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm telling you, there is
something going on. I've had family members who had dementia. I see the signs.
It's so fucking obvious. Anyways. Okay, I'll take a breath. Can't diagnose.
Let's back up. He's sending us towards seeing red, Mia.
If you're in the health field, you're not allowed to diagnose. I'm not diagnosing. I'm just saying, having worked with a lot of people, there are motherfucking signs. Okay, deep breath, walk away.
Okay, back to the subject. Back to the subject. We got to get to the next topic. I
know, right? So basically, Mike Johnson comes into this because he's trying to be a good puppet. You know what? I'll give it to Mike Johnson. He needs to win Puppet of the Year. At the end,
yeah, he's a better puppet than Vance.
I mean, Vance is causing all the crap. Johnson is like, Johnson's being a true soldier to Oompa Loompa Man. So, I don't know. Just anyways, that's the end of that. Release the list, I think, is the summary of that problem.
Release the list. That is the summary of this part. We want that list so we can make some arrests. I don't care if Prince what's his face is on it. I feel that guy's creepy anyway.
If Oompa Loompa Man isn't on it, then why the fuck does he care to hide it? There's your question, people. For anybody who supports him, why, if he's not on it and he's not guilty, why is he diverting like a mofo?
Mm-hmm.
Just
you
saying.
know, if we were dodging the issue, they'd be like, why are you dodging? Now I'm asking, why are y'all dodging? Why are you desperate to protect somebody who may have hurt kids?
Okay, so now let's go to Pete Hegseth. I mean, Pete Hegseth is his own issue, but
yeah, he's the drunk who we always hear about every 3 seconds.
I know him and his Department of War. Dun, dun, dun.
Department of War. Ooh.
I know, right? It's so ridiculous. Okay, so the Pete Hegseth. This is a 2-part issue. First, we have the Pentagon and the press issues, which we're definitely going to talk about. And then there's the 800 general meeting where he basically fat shamed generals. So
when I saw part of that meeting, I was just like, what the fuck are you even doing?
What is this timeline we're in? What is this?
I don't know. I demand we get put on the other timeline. Because this one is just like, what the hell?
Have you seen a side conversation for 2 seconds? Have you seen Loki season 1 or season 2?
Yes.
Oh my God. Can we just get Loki in here to like switch up
our timeline? I would appreciate it. Loki, put us on one of the good timelines. We can't take this shit no more.
Hell, I don't even care if it's a good timeline. Put me on a boring timeline.
A boring one would be nice. I'm tired of all this interesting stuff. Interesting stuff is wearing us down.
We literally have a topic of Pete Hegseth, a former Fox News reporter he served in the military, but he's not qualified, right? Let's be real. Everybody, I think even people in MAGA who support him know this, right? He's not fucking qualified for the job.
He's not qualified for that. You're right. I mean, this man didn't even make the rank of general. He drank too flipping much. He talked about government secrets on a fucking public act.
To his wife and a brother-in-law, like our sister-in-law, brother. It was a brother-in-law. He had group chats. This man has released more secrets on group chats than probably any. I mean, Snowden. Remember Snowden? Honestly, who released more secrets? Pete Hegseth or Snowden?
Yeah, I didn't like Snowden, but at least he didn't release everything.
I mean, man, it's wild. So, anyways, if you missed it, there's been 2 big things with the Department of War. The first is, we'll start with the first one. I'll do timeline. So the first one is Pete Hegseth called together all the generals in the United States, made them a great target, by the way.
Yeah, so he could have his I'm a big boy talk.
Why didn't this motherfucker have a Zoom call? Like, you're telling me you got every single general.
And he also made it mandatory. They could not skip it.
It was a mandatory meeting. You're putting every single general who commands our forces in the same goddamn room.
That feels really, really stupid.
If I were an enemy country, like if I were a country, which really we make our own enemy. We are our worst enemy right now.
We're increasing our enemies list.
I know we are our worst enemy. That's what I'm saying. We're our biggest worst enemy. If I were a country that had, let's say, issues with us and wanted to fuck around and find out, that would be like, I don't even want to like put it out there, but like that would have been the time and place to go after, which is so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, all our top generals.
Exactly.
What the hell? That's putting our best military minds all at risk by keeping them in the same place. Like, I would understand if you had a few, but even if you, never mind, I'm using too much common sense. Let me stop. Stop using my brain.
Too much common sense, Crystal. Calm down. And Crystal, do you know what the important topic was that they had to talk about? That was so dire. They had to get 800 of our generals all in the same goddamn room. Do you want to know what the topic was?
What was it?
Are you ready?
Yes.
The military is not man enough, and they're too fat.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Plus that whole getting rid of women bullshit.
Oh, yeah, no. So they're also getting rid of women out of military posts. They're also very much trying to
Didn't they say something about also getting rid of gay people?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. They're getting rid of trans and LGBTQIA people because that's not man enough. That's not masculine.
You know, Mia, he says it's not man enough, but it wouldn't surprise me if he has an account on Grindr.
Right. So anyways, besides that, allegedly, Crystal, allegedly.
I said maybe.
Say allegedly.
Allegedly, he may have an account on Grindr because every time there's a Republican gathering, that website breaks.
I know. So anyways, besides the allegedlys, And then he fat shamed our military, which, by the way, I'm not like the biggest supporter of some of the military stuff that's happened. I'm not the biggest fan, okay? But putting that aside, nobody deserves to be fat shamed.
Exactly. I mean, what?
Like, I felt really bad. I honestly felt really bad.
To be honest, Mia, that looked and felt like some stupid frat boy initiation.
It's like, yeah, because he literally you have 800 people who are serving their country. They have dedicated, and these are generals, so they have dedicated at least 40 or 50, because I don't think you can make general before 40. I really don't. I think it's very weird if they I think it's like you can maybe get promoted after 30, but like you have to have at least 30, 40 years in service. So these are men who have been dedicating their lives 40, 50, 60 years of their lives or more to this country, being called to a meeting with their department head who's telling them you're too fat. And that, we need to all get on a diet, basically. Like,
you need a man up. Yeah, just be a manly man.
Also, does the military have an HR department? Because honestly, I feel like the military needs an HR department with this guy.
I think they do, but they probably cut that with this administration.
They probably cut it, yeah. Well, I mean, how first of all, how dare you? The fact that you're talking down to these people who have more experience than you,
have served years and put their lives at risk for years.
Exactly. They have defended this country. Now, I am not saying they have made all the right decisions, because
they're not perfect, but still.
They're not, nobody's perfect. And I will never say that like there's not shit that they couldn't have avoided in certain areas. But
marriage is only the beginning. Wedded bliss available now.
It's just the audacity, the rudeness. Like, I'm sorry, I might not like some of the shit they've done, but how, like, you are supposedly their commander. You are one of their department heads, other than Oompa Loompa Man. And Oompa Loompa Man came on there and did his allegedly dementia-filled
his alleged dementia spill.
Yes, because I have to be careful too. And so, like, you literally have the commander-in-chief and your department head telling you you're fat and you need to be more manly. Like, how? Like, honestly, I feel like they probably just laughed about it. But like, and then by the way, the other big issue at this meeting was that, they didn't clap for the president. Like, he made some jokes, so did Pete Hegseth, and nobody clapped. But then, by the way, it came out after the fact that when they have military conferences, because they do sometimes, they don't clap. Because they're literally disencouraged from doing that, because it's a sign of respect.
I mean, why would you clap when you're doing stuff like that? That makes no sense. I mean, it's supposed to be a military conference. This isn't a time for, yay, let's cheer and hurrah.
Right.
That's a time for, this is a very serious moment. I'd expect you all to take this very seriously. We're not going to make levity of this.
Yeah. So you're literally sitting there fat shaming a bunch of generals, telling them they aren't man enough. And I mean, and then of course, if there's women in there, like, well, fuck them because they don't matter. So it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. It didn't look good. And why the fuck is this man in charge? I mean,
it was nauseating to even watch, to be honest.
Let's be so for real right now, as everybody likes to say. If this was anybody else, let's say they had put Joy-Ann Reid in there, right? Let's say they made her department head. First of all, people like Republicans and conservatives would have burst fucking blood vessels over that, right?
That's true. Imagine if President Obama did that. Mm-hmm. Dear God, imagine that. That would have been
put in a Democratic president, or even a Democratic head of that department, like even Colin Powell. If you had if Colin Powell or anybody who has ever had that post under a Democratic president had done that meeting, the media, well, I mean, I think the media did tear them apart, but like conservatives were like, well, they're just trying to be more. You motherfuckers would have torn them apart like rabid dogs. You would have been after them like they had stolen your children and your babies and all of your food. And the fact that
they would have gone like rabid dogs, like the tan suit incident. It would have been like the tan suit incident all over again.
And you want to sit there and act like that's even acceptable in any business world place and anywhere. is just disgusting. So
it's acceptable because, Papa Trump did it. Also,
right.
why are you people calling him Papa and Daddy? That is creepy as hell.
Why, Crystal? I had a very nice lunch. Why are you trying to hurt me? What
I'm just saying, they have been saying that a lot. It is very creepy and disturbing.
We need an HR department. I'm putting in a complaint that Crystal hurt me. So anyways. So
I'm visiting too many of their creepy habits.
I know, right? Okay, well, so here, I'm going to say this, generals, to all the generals who had to deal with this. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are handsome and strong. Ignore the idiot. Nobody cares.
Oh, they are.
And if you, by the way, this is the only time, by the way, this is a joke, but also I'm not lying. I don't mind. If all y'all want to plan a military coup, we're not exactly going to stand in your way. Okay.
We will not criticize. We allegedly will not stand in your way. We allegedly will not stand in your way. We allegedly will not encourage you to do it. And to all the military officers who have resigned because the administration has been asking them to do a lot of illegal stuff, my hat goes out to you. I get why you were plotting not to leave, but I get why you had to do what you did.
To anybody, and I mean, even the people who are trying to stay in to kind of keep things sane, I give them credit because I couldn't do it. I would result, like if I was in that position and I even had to deal with that bullshit, my ass would be out of there so fast, the door would spin. Like, fuck that nonsense, honestly. So, the end of this is to the military generals, you're beautiful, handsome, and wonderful. Ignore the stupid people. And military coup, I'm not, I'm going to pretend I don't see shit is what I'm going for.
We allegedly will pretend we don't see shit. We allegedly will not encourage you to do it. We allegedly will cheer you on for it.
Right. And then, so here, oh, by the way, I forgot even about the second issue. So let's get to that. So the second Pete Hegseth issue is Pete Hegseth and Obama. Or not, sorry, why did I say Obama? Man, it's
because he mentions President Obama every 3 seconds. It's to the point where we're doing it by accident.
Actually, side note, Michelle Obama, you can still run for president, right? Sorry, just putting that out there.
Yeah, she won't. President Obama has emphasized how much he hates politics. People are talking about, here's the thing I'm going to say really, really quick. People keep saying, how do we get President Obama to run for a third term if Trump does? The fact is, you can't convince him unless you can convince Michelle, because he has emphasized he hates politics. He even said at the end of his second term, even if he could run for a third term, he wouldn't, because he likes being married and he knows he'll lose her if he tries to run for a third term.
I mean, I don't necessarily want Obama for a third term, but like, dear Michelle,
neither do I, but still.
Dear Michelle.
Like, I feel like he did as best job as he could when he was president. I did enjoy the Obama Biden years, but I feel like we need to move forward. You can't keep doing the same thing. I know he was our president, a good president, but he cannot be our emotional support president.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, dear Michelle. I know you hate everything about everything going on, and I don't blame you. And I wish I could be near you. But also, if you could just take pity on us and run for president, please, and then make Bernie your vice president, and Bernie will do all the work. All you have to do is look stunning and be wonderful and have a brain
and keep being your brilliant self.
Yeah. I'm just saying, have Bernie do all the. Bernie won't mind. Bernie lives for that shit. Have Bernie as your VP. Bernie will do all the work. You just sit there and just keep smiling at the head. I'm just saying, why can't we have any good things? Okay, moving on.
Because we have too many morons who don't want to take responsibility for shit.
So anyways, the second topic of this is that Pete Hegseth and Oompa Loompa Man have gotten together and they have asked reporters in the Pentagon to sign a pledge agreeing not to gather or report on unapproved information, even if it's unclassified, because fuck that petty freedom of speech bullshit. That's just silly. So the Pentagon is saying, oh, well, this is to control information flow, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, none of the journalists who are legitimate, by the way, legitimate journalists, including, and you know what? First time I've ever given credit to Fox News.
Yeah,
first time,
that
Crystal,
really gave me whiplash the second I heard they sided with the other reporters. I was like,
it's a
dear
historical
Jesus.
day. But
I was thinking, is it almost rapture time? You know, that South African reverend has been hitting at it a lot. Maybe we are close to that rapture.
So, like, basically, every single reporter, including Fox News, and I believe OAM too, I'm not for sure if OAM did, But Fox News and the rest walked out. They walked out, they packed up their offices, and they said, we will not sign this pledge. We are still going to cover the Pentagon. We're going to do it from outside. We are not going to sign this pledge. And basically, we're not going to fall for this bullshit, basically. And so this had an immediate, like, this was in newspapers everywhere because they said, rightfully so, this violates freedom of press. And I mean, let's talk about authoritarianism. And I'm not pronouncing shit right. But
authoritarianism.
Yes, that. Let's talk about that and fascism. And like, I mean, people are like, oh, well, you know, he's doing a few, we're in it.
A few. One was one too many.
You talk about like, people are like, oh, well, if it gets really bad, we'll say something. Okay, darling, the kitchen's on fire.
For pity's sake, we have seen reverends getting pelted with pepper bombs directly in the face. They aren't even doing anything except peacefully protesting. Directly in the face, getting pelted with pepper bombs.
It's not even about, and this will go to our next topic, which is ICE. It's not even about just pastors. It's about American people are having their cities invaded by a secret police-like force. You have our current Defense Department trying to hide what they're doing from the people. Not that they're really doing shit, let's be honest, but they're trying to, because, you know, let's be more fascist. Let's do it. So to me, it's just like, first of all, I commend all the reporters for walking out. I support all of them.
My hats off to all of y'all for being brave and not bending the knee. America will serve no king.
Well, and that's the thing is like, it's just, and we did have the No Kings protest, which brought in how many millions of people? Millions of people.
Yeah, and millions of people that better show up at the polls. And when you show up at the polls.
But it's just ridiculous to me that like, people are like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And they just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, tell that to my grocery bill. Tell that to the child who got zip tied in the middle of the night, butt naked on the street.
I mean, tell them that. They're trying to they're trying to drag kids out of school. They're going after kids who are adopted, who have already had trauma in their lives. They're going after fucking just anybody who's brown.
Yeah, and tell that to all the people who have been put into the rap, which is basically torturous, and a few have, from what we know, have died from it.
It's basically like we are, the kitchen is on fire, everything's on fire, and people are like, oh, well, okay, maybe it's, I mean, the man is single-handedly trying to burn the Constitution down. Like, if you don't see that, I don't know what to do with you. And like, it's funny because there's this person on TikTok, and I'll find the username and link him down below. But like, there's this person on TikTok who talks about like, oh, how you should talk to MAGA people and kind of how to have the conversations you need to have with them to open their minds. But it's like, you know, on one hand, I respect that person.
Oh, I believe I know who you're talking about. Because didn't she say she pulled her mother out of MAGA?
No. So there's this
guy who dresses up as a chick with like I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
And so he dresses up and he does this like, here's how you deal with that. But like, here's my problem. You are saying that you're this type of person. You're this type of person. Oh, you don't endorse this stuff, but oh, well, it's not terrible. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Like,
well, yeah, it's like me when I was bringing up the reverends and the pepper ball. The only reason why I hardcore bring that up is you're saying it's not terrible. Then you start talking about, the Lord and this and that thing.
Yeah.
Hun, reverends are getting pepper balled.
I know.
Priests are trying to make sure that when people leave mass, they don't get rounded up by ICE. You can't keep saying this, that, and the other thing.
They're using kids and family members as bait to try to get other people in jail.
Yeah, for pity's sake, I saw two children running up to hug their parents because ICE tried to grab them and their parents, and they had to run for their lives.
And so literally, ICE tried to arrest an alderman who was in the hospital. And if you don't know what the fucking alderman is, fucking look it up. They are representatives for people in the hospital, and they're basically their advocates, okay? This is an elected position. These are elected officials in their communities who help people who are in the hospital who may be getting mistreated. Like, that's what they're really there for. So the alderman was called into a situation. ICE arrested the fucking alderman.
Yeah, I remember. I saw them being zip tied, and I was like, what the literal fuck? That is an elected official trying to do their job.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, they're arresting mayors. They don't give a fuck. They don't, because
I even saw there was an Asian representative. I can't remember his name, but they walked up to his car and he kept having to scream his name because I could tell they wanted to get in there to get at him.
Yep. And that's the thing. Is like we now have a secret police force. We have them trying to get pledges of loyalty from fucking reporters. Like
Yeah.
the shit is the everything is on fire, you guys. Like if you don't realize
Yeah.
that,
But
and I'm honestly I'm at the point that I'm tired, and I get it. I get that people want to be like, let's reach out to the other side, let's have a discussion. And I'm usually the person who is all about discussions. But at some point, if you are going to be that blind to what the fuck is going on, then why should I talk to you? Why should I engage with you if you are going to walk around while everything's on fire with your eyes closed saying, oh, there's no fire, there's no smoke, what are you talking about? It can't happen to us, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I am going to, because this is frustrating, I am going to mention one good thing before we get to our next topic, just so everybody can cool off a little bit. If you check, a lot of people are standing outside of ICE detention facilities. Yes, they're insulting the ICE agents. They're screaming at them and everything.
No, we're going to talk about that. That's coming up at the next story.
Okay, I just thought since this was intense, I'd take a chance to use that to cool it down a bit.
Crystal, don't ruin the fun stuff after.
Okay, I'll wait. You guys, I'll let you guys have your nice, calm, happy report later, because Mia doesn't like it when I skip ahead.
No, she's trying to skip. She's skipping right now. What the hell? Oh, hold on. All right, we're back.
We're back. We were interrupted by our sponsor, Technical Difficulties. The worst sponsor in the world because they make you pause your videos when you're almost done.
Brought to you by endless echoing, random glitches, and occasionally, why isn't this working? I want to slam my head against the keyboard. Such products.
Yeah. Such amazing products.
Our next topic is kind of the last topic, but it's a two-parter. So it's technically two topics in one, but it's one giant topic. So we have since we were just talking about the secret police, and I mean, we should have said cowards and then secret police. So all of the above.
Yeah, all of the above, a bunch of sissy boys. You're willing to arrest children, chase people down on the street and everything else. Yeah. You're willing to go and attack clergy, and probably they're also attacking imams and rabbi wouldn't surprise me with that either. Being peaceful, protesting, trying to de-escalate the situation. You're nothing but about a cowards and a bunch of little bitches.
Yeah, basically. So, oh, by the way, they're so stressed, Crystal, that people are quitting because they're so stressed out. They don't know what to do, Crystal.
Yeah, some of them, I will give them a tiny drop, minuscule amount of credit that some of them have quit because they don't like how people are being treated in the detention centers. But others are quitting because they're being mocked.
Yeah, well, I don't really care, honestly. Like they can kind of F off for all I care. We have. So today is like two different topics when it comes to this. We have the first one is we have Tori Branham.
Oh, the lady who cost my state money. You know, Georgia has pretty much lost our whole Hollywood thing with the actors and making movies. We have lost a ton of that to the Europeans, and she cost us even more money.
So, Tori Branham, she is running for the Georgia Senate District. I could talk. Senate District 20. And she is, I don't know, a true MAGA supporter. We'll just call her that.
She wanted her darling Emperor Donald Trump to notice her.
She wanted to
notice her, senpai.
She just wanted to be noticed. She wanted some attention. So, last month, Tori decides to call ICE. Because, and if you go by what Tori says, she had legitimate sources who told her that there were slave workers in the Hyundai factory that's currently being built. And I think it's like is it Elbowie, Georgia?
I honestly don't remember.
It's something that starts with an it's L. I know it's L something, Georgia. And so just a background on this. They've been working on this factory for 2 or 3 years. It's literally like the current governor of Georgia, who, by the way, is an asshole, and you'll find, like, just look him up, you'll find out.
He is an asshole. Just because he didn't do that secret vote thing Trump wanted him to do doesn't mean he was a good person. He is not a good governor. He's a piece of shit.
He jury rigged his state. Like, the man has jury rigged his state like 20 times for votes and stuff. So anyways, he literally he and a lot of other people have been working to get this Hyundai factory in Georgia, and it's supposed to bring in 9,000 jobs, and so they've been building it. Now, to get it up to specifications and to have people trained correctly, they had to bring in on limited visas 300 South Koreans, because, by the way, Hyundai is owned by a South Korean family. They are very prominent in South Korea. They have a lot of money, obviously, Hyundai, and they put a lot of time and effort, and they're like, okay, we're going to train these people for their jobs. So they brought in their experts. Now,
and
Tory
once again, this is a time when Georgia really needs this money.
Yes. So Tory is over here like trying to run, and I honestly think she did this. Honestly, I think she did this to get attention on her running so that she could get like his personal endorsement or some shit. She calls ICE on this factory, and so of course ICE, aka secret police, aka cowards, invade this this factory, arrest I think all 300 of the South Koreans who had, maybe it was only 300 out of 400, I don't know. They arrested at least 300 people. And Tory is on TikTok, by the way, very proudly, talking about how she's the one who blew the whistle and they had slave labor and we don't support slavery, but like also we need they were trying to take our jobs. Well, fun fact, they weren't. They were actually there to finish the factory and then train people how to do jobs. But Tory doesn't understand this because Tory is very, very, very simple and just wants attention. So Tory puts this out here immediately. I mean, this almost became its own international crisis because South Korea got pissed. South Korea was like, what the fuck are you doing with our people? Give us our people now. So literally South Korea, so by the way, fun fact, the government offered to transport the people to back to South Korea. And South Korea basically said, no, we don't fucking trust you. We're going to fly planes in. We're going to come collect our people. You keep your fucking hands off them. So
exactly. South Korea wasn't playing that game. They're not stupid.
No. So South Korea came in, they caught their people, they took them back. And of course, they are now basically at this point, they're threatening to close down the factory. They're basically, actually, one of the things I saw, and this, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, they were basically threatening to open an investigation into the U.S. about humanitarian issues.
Yes, I've heard that was going on, and I have heard, now I haven't found a source that has confirmed it. I've only heard this, that all hope of getting that factory in Georgia at this point is not going to happen.
Well, there's been conflicting sources.
Yeah, that's why I've heard.
Brought to you by technical difficulties.
Yes, our sponsor, once again, right before we got to the last topic, decided to cut us off again. Such a great sponsor. Technical difficulties. Your computer suddenly blow up. Technical difficulties.
I guess our sponsor
you lose all your saves. Technical difficulties is there for you.
Our sponsors try to make sure we take a break. I think. I'm understanding their tactic now. So,
well,
anyways.
Mia, that's a terrible break because literally it's interrupting us because we're at the tail end where we would talk, end the thing and do what we need to do. No, okay, it's stalling us. Anyway.
Through. So Tori's all over TikTok now, taking credit for it, bragging about how she's awesome and wonderful and yada, yada, yada. And then it backfires because South Korea is like threatening to derail this. They're basically threatening to open humanitarian charges into us. Hyundai is like, we don't fucking trust your asses. We might close this down. So the governor and Trump, because they were for 2 minutes, Trump was agreeing with his little pet Tory that, their visas might have had issues, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly, I think 2 or 3 days later, after South Korea made it really fucking clear they weren't playing with their asses, suddenly Trump's like, oh no, their visas are fine. No, we definitely, they're okay. You can come back. So I don't know if they've actually come back. What I've heard, there's kind of two stories right now. The first one is that Hyundai and South Korea is fucking bent over us. And by the way, South Korean people, not nice about this issue because
don't see why they should be.
Right. So South Korean influencers, and there's actually a bunch of them on TikTok who were basically translating what South Korean society was saying. And the nicest thing they said was that she was a dog. that was the nicest thing they said. I won't repeat anything else. It was not nice. They were not playing with her ass.
Oh, I would. Mia, if I had heard the other things, I would say, because I probably share the same sentiment.
Right. She just, and so anyways, then Tori got upset because people came for her on TikTok, and TikTok is still not having it with her. But
well, why should we like it? She only did this because she saw Asians, and so she decided illegal. I doubt she even knew that they were Korean.
Yeah, no, she doesn't care. She literally, and by the way, she was talking about how it was like, oh, well, there's Latinos like slaves or some shit. Like, she was talking a lot of shit, right? So she's now being quiet, but she quadrupled down. She insisted 4 or 5 different times, to the point that her adult kid, who evidently is not a fan of her, had to like disassociate the family name from her just to not have to deal with this crap. And Tori's like, well, I got pew pews. Anybody comes from it, it's ridiculous.
Okay, Tori, just as Georgia does have pew pews and we like to keep people out of our state, doesn't mean we want to keep the people who are trying to help us make money out of our state.
Yeah, I know. She's very special. So anyways, she has doubled down. She's very proud of this, blah, blah, blah. South Korea is not playing. So there's 2 stories. One story is that they will come back, but it's not going to be, none of this is going to be completed until 2027. By the way, it was supposed to be completed by like beginning of 2026. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
The other story is that supposedly there are rumblings that South Korea and Hyundai are so pissed about this that they might close down the factory before it even opens. So,
and if they are, that's not a surprise.
None of this is confirmed. And we all know that like there are certain countries where they kind of keep their shit on lockdown. I'm not saying South Korea is one of them. North Korea is not South Korea. But South Korea is really good about like keeping how they feel kind of to themselves. So we don't know the facts there. But I mean, I would not blame them for wanting to close it down, honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't blame them. I mean, like, you send executives, this is a good faith thing. You're like, yeah, we can make money together. Yay. No, you got your people got disrespected. They got treated, it makes me mad because they treated these people like they were animals. They were here basically, they're in an area of Georgia that really, because like I said, Georgia needs some money from that factory. And they were in an area, from what I know of that spot, I don't know much about it. They really needed that factory. So they needed those jobs. They took a chance on us. And what were they given in return?
Yeah. Well, I actually read up that particular town had just had the mill closed down. So they don't have a lot of huge sources of jobs right now for that town. Now,
I heard that town and area. I can't pronounce the name to save my life. Elabin something. But they really needed that. A lot of people would have gotten jobs. A lot of people would have been trained with skills they could have even transferred to other jobs. But will they have that now? Possibly no. Because this stupid BITCH just felt like, oh, I gotta report these people who do not look like me to ICE so I can get Mr. Trump's approval. May as well make me popular. Bitch, I really have a lot of words I'm holding back using right now because I feel all kinds of ways about you. You are a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah. So basically that happened. And then it's just... It's like, out of all the things, like, and by the way, she's real proud of this. She's still running for Senate. Of course, she's still trying. She basically, her story is, she changed her story, right? She was really proud to basically be a pretend racist. Well, she basically is racist. So let's be real.
Yeah, she's not pretending.
She was trying to pretend that she was doing it for the health and safety of the people because she had legitimate sources who said they were being treated horribly and being used as slaves. By the way, half these people are like top chemists and other things from these factories that were going to help like train people for various jobs in the factory. Like,
exactly. Mia, my health and safety demands that she fucks off.
So anyways, that's that ICE story. But then this gets into the second part, which is, let's talk about ICE invading different cities, because that's what's going on. ICE has now entered. They have gone from LA to Chicago. I gotta love Chicago, man. Chicago.
I do.
Chicago. One of the stories, I will quote this story because it was so fucking great. One of the stories is that some of the Chicago people literally got trash trucks and lined them up.
Yeah, they did. I saw that report.
From coming into
I forget. I think it may have been the mayor who did that. Don't quote me on that because I don't fully remember. But I remember seeing the photos from that, and I'm glad they did it too.
So Chicago representing. Then they came to Portland. And here's the thing. I am a native Portland girl. So I can tell you I'm not surprised by any of this. So Portland, by the way, if you don't know, Portland for like months now has been having, I'll just say jamborees outside of ICE hotels and the facility. Because that's how, I will tell you as a Portland native, how Portland protest stuff is very, like, we have a lot of hippies. I'm just going to be real. We have a lot of hippie people. So Portland is very hippie in its response to stuff, okay? So what Portland did is Portland has been having an ongoing jamboree, anywhere between one person to like 50 people, not a whole lot, right? Outside of the hotels that had the ICE people and outside of the facility that was encasing people, right? And they've been having parties where they have been singing. They've brought their own instruments. And part of this, they've actually had people who were in, you know, like those fluffy, like dinosaur costumes and stuff. Those people were already there. Okay?
But the big timer is still the frog. The frog is on the march.
We're getting to the frog now. So basically what happened is that Portland, so then Oompa Loompa Man decided that Portland was dangerous and anarchy and they needed help and they couldn't contain. And so the governor, of course, was like, no, but for real, it's not even that big of a deal, person. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. So they sent in ICE and I believe the National Guard, if I'm correct. They sent in at least ICE, but I believe also the National Guard. Or they try to. I think they tried to send in the National Guard. I don't know that it works because last I heard, Oregon, by the way, the general of the National Guard for Oregon has literally said that if they get deployed in any part of Oregon, they are going to be specifically protecting protesters.
Which is understandable because, my goodness, these people have been in day. You know, if the protesters were trying to pull out a sharp implement on them, I would understand. But
they're not. They're singing.
They're not doing that. They're being peaceful. I mean, do you find someone playing the ukulele threatening?
I know. So then here's the frogs. This is, Crystal really wants the frog story.
The frogs are my favorite part. The frogs are on the march.
So what happened was he sent in the National Guard and ICE to go invade and deal with the terrorists in Portland. Okay, you guys. Literally people having a dance party. I'm not playing. So then what does Portland do? And this is a very Portland thing to do. Portland then decides that they're going to amp up the party. And so Portland literally, like, we had frogs. The frog, I think, was the most popular.
It was the most popular. Like, you guys had other air suits, but the frog was the big timer.
Frog was big time. Frog was best frog. So basically the protesters came in inflatable frog costumes. And they wanted to show this whole portrayal of Portland as a war zone. So it's called the Portland Frog Brigade and Operation Inflation, okay? And basically, it was inspired by an incident where a protester, Seth Todd, was sprayed with chemical irritant while wearing an inflatable frog suit. Protesters use these costumes to counter the narrative of violence and also to, like, protect their eyes, by the way. So,
yeah, I mean, my goodness.
Seth Todd, known as Toad, had this happen October 2nd. So now everybody saw this and people were like, wait, there's a frog party going on? And so now there are tons of people. And so what has happened is Operation Inflation, the group is I think the Portland Frog Brigade, but it's also Operation Inflation is taking current donations, and I will link that below, by the way.
Link it below because they deserve to be supported.
They are asking for donations because they are getting more costumes and handing them out to people. So now the frog party has grown. It is now a giant frog party, and everybody is invited. Bring your music, bring your frog costumes. Be prepared, you will get stuff sprayed at you.
Yeah, which is aggravating. Stop spraying folk when they peacefully protest.
And it's just like, it's wild to me. And it's funny because I saw a lot of people like frog costumes, and I'm like, dude, here's the thing. Portland is very special. And they have their own way of having a party. So basically, because the way Portland is protesting is basically saying, okay, you're going to invade our city. We're going to make sure you don't sleep because we're going to have a dance party all night long. And they do all night long.
Y'all are going to rave.
And so now the frog brigade is going on strong. I salute you, frogs.
Yes, and the frogs we trust.
And frogs we trust. So But also to also kind of understand the frog thing too, just as if something you don't know, frog. I was trying to say Portland and said frog. Portland is very big on conserving our environment. Like Oregon as a state is very big on conservation. We have a lot of woodlands. We work to conserve them. And I remember even when I was in high school, we would have there would be teams of us who would go into like wetlands and go into other places. Like we study things, we put in our things, they submit them to a national testing. Like our cities and like in Oregon work actively to conserve the nature around us and be very careful about like a lot of like downtown. They literally upgraded downtown when I was in high school so that it would have more trees and stuff, so there'd be higher oxygen and a better way to fight pollution in the city. So like Portland is very big on conserving animals, wildlife, and trees. So like I said, I'm not hugely surprised that people got frog costumes.
Yeah.
And when I'm not surprised. Anyways, besides all that, so this is, and then we had New York, which just happened.
New York. The New Yorkers aren't playing.
Here's something I'll say. If you ever want like the best history read in your life, look up New York. New York has a fascinating history, whether it's about, the Irish cops, whether it's about the, just immigration, because New York has always been a huge immigration territory for America. Like we've always, that's where half our immigrants come from is through Ellis Island, like, right? So I am not surprised that New York, because honestly, I feel like ICE is stupid. You are literally picking the places that are going to, but I mean, I also feel like it's deliberate because
they're trying to attack heavily blue areas because I guess Trump thinks if he does that, he will teach all of you a lesson.
So he's trying to make this point of like, oh, look, they're so scary. Okay.
Okay, I'm not even from New York and I know not to do this.
I'm just saying, New York, we also salute you. Because New York, in true New York fashion, just like Portland's jam is to have a party in their movements, New York's movement is to flip people off and tell them to F off a cliff, basically. So
yeah, New York is gonna get you.
So there's actually some backstory to this, and if you don't, and I actually found this out after the fact, because I was like, why are they invading Canal Street? So if you don't know what Canal Street is kind of this off the books kind of street market in New York. And it's been there for a very long time. They basically sell like off-brand, purses. That's where you get like your fake Gucci, your fake Rolex, all that Canal Street. It's very famous, right?
Yep, I've been there. They got some good stuff.
Fun story is that conservative TikTokers and influencers actually were talking about Canal Street, and this is how it got onto ICE's notice, is that because for some reason ICE is stupid and didn't know about, I've known about Canal Street for years, but like I study a lot of shit, so maybe that's why, but I already knew about Canal Street. But supposedly conservative TikTokers and all these people were like, well, why don't we, because by the way, it has a lot of, I believe is it Haitian immigrants? I
think so, but don't quote me on that because I don't fully remember.
Okay, sorry, that was a quick fact check we had to do. So fact check, we're back. I had to double check. So Canal Street is filled with a lot of Chinese immigrants and a lot of West African immigrants from Senegal and Guinea. And Guinea. I think I said it right before, man, and I said it wrong this time. And then Mauritania, which I don't think I'm saying that right either. So basically, these are immigrants who have come over from Chinese territories, from West African territories, and they are living their life and doing themselves happy. Okay, and some of them
they're not really bothering anyone.
They're not. They're selling off-brand purses, like
which makes most people happy.
What you got against the double Gucci? What you got against fake Gucci? What's your problem, Bob? Let the people have their fake Gucci. So
a lot of us like fake Gucci. You think we're gonna play real Gucci prices, you son of a bitch?
Right. So anyways, conservative like TikTokers and YouTubers were talking about Canal Street. So then ICE, of course, because they're trolls, so they're trolling all these types of things. They get wind of this. They go in and invade with police the Canal Street, and they basically tried to arrest a bunch of people. So New York, and if you've never heard a New York story, let me introduce you to New York. New York is very much a city that, just like Philadelphia and Boston, okay, they don't F around.
They royally don't. They will get you.
They had people who were just walking on the street. There was one woman, and I want to find out her name so bad. There was a woman in this awesome, like, polka dot dress who was clearly on her way to work, who literally got in front. They brought tanks, Crystal. They brought fucking tanks to
You
New
can
York.
bring tanks all you want. That is New York. I know how they act.
This woman in this polka dot dress got in front of this tank so fast, you would have thought it had taken her groceries, okay? She was flipping them off, double bird. I salute to her. And she literally stood in front of that tank for like 10 minutes to keep it from going. Many New Yorkers, the minute the call went out on Twitter and TikTok, people were coming in. I basically, like, when I was looking this up, basically what happened is New York, and then the news started reporting, New York was like, oh no, you don't.
Yeah, like when I saw the report, I was like, whoa, that's interesting. But at the same time, I'm not surprised.
No, so then New York came down in droves, to the point that night, after the raid had happened, that night they shut down the streets in protest because New York was not going to play with this shit. And there were so many F words. I feel like New York, by the way, New York, congratulations on breaking. I believe they might have made a record for how many F words they used that day.
Yeah, and you hear them use it all the time, but they were doubling down.
I'm just saying, salute to New York for, like, I appreciate that they stood together as citizens who were defending their community. And that's what we're all about, right? We are going to, if you see this shit happen with ICE, get your camera out, get your recording device out, record it. And you know what? If you feel like you have bail money, because people did get arrested and put in jail. I believe charges were dropped for some of them. But if you are prepared to go to jail and have to pay bond money, you can feel free to try to defend people. I wouldn't advise it. I would say record.
Yeah, it's worth it to record it.
Yeah. So hold on. Okay, so basically, if you, please go look up the videos, because I think the videos of people standing up is what we definitely need to see. That you need to stand up for your community, record what's going on. Now, some of these, New York definitely got very physical. So has, I think,
well, that's New York. We've always known them to get physical. They never, like, I'm not from there, but that's like something everybody knows.
I know.
And yet these idiots did it anyway.
And it's funny, they're trying to say it was like an intelligence-driven attack, but like, reality is, from everything I've heard, it was basically because conservative TikTokers and Twitter people and YouTubers were talking about Canal Street and how there's so many immigrants.
Yeah, New York, a state known hardcore. Well, even New York City. Places we known usually are where a lot of immigrants stop it. I mean, for pity's sake, when my father flew to the U.S., I think for the first time, he landed in flipping New York. My friend was telling me when her grandfather immigrated to United States, back Ellis Island was still open. New York. I mean, for pity's sake, everybody knows New York's a spot, and everybody knows that New York will fight you.
Well, and what kind of gets me is, like, it's just this, because I want to point out something here, because, by the way, for every racist person who was like, oh, well, they're just going after the illegal immigrants from Mexico. These were Chinese immigrants and West African immigrants.
As far as they're concerned, all of them are from Mexico.
Oh,
These people can't find Kabul on a map.
I know. It's just ridiculous to me, because it's like, first of all, the racism, there's so much racism, but second, it's like, and then on top of how ICE is acting, because let's talk about, they're in mass, they don't have identification, and they're literally sitting there saying, well, we could do what we want. And by the way, they're literally trying to get, like, there's cases right now where there are judges who are fucking biased as fuck, who are deciding in their favor that, oh yeah, they can do this. I'm sorry, everybody has the right to representation, and the fact that you keep trying to take that away. And you know what? Okay, so all these dangerous criminals, you mean people who have expired visas. And by the way, if you don't know anything, again, let's reiterate the fact, and I think we've said this several times, the visa immigration system is sincerely fucked because it takes so long to get paperwork in and through the system. It takes so long.
Our system is not easy to navigate. We have one of the hardest ones.
I literally had someone whose mom was trying to get citizenship, right? Had been at it for like 15 years. 15 years the woman had been sending in paperwork trying to get, and this is, I think some of it was without representation. They finally, I think, got enough money for a lawyer after the fact, but like she was literally trying to get her legal status, and
she was trying to do everything right the right way.
Exactly. And it took forever. And that's the thing, is like you can't just be like, oh well, they're just terrible illegal. No, they're not. These are people who literally came over to get a better life. And the system is so slow that they've been here 20, 30, 40, fucking 50 years. And they can't get stepped because it won't go through. They have to jump through all these hoops. And by the way, you do realize to everybody who's like, well, they're terrible people. You do realize that immigrants know more about our country than most of you mofos, right?
Because I mean, they probably know more about our history, more about everything. Heck, all of them speak English better than we do.
Exactly. So like none of you can sit there and be like, oh, well, they're just flooding in to take our jobs. And no, half the jobs they have, most of you wouldn't even go for. So it's
exactly the only person trying to take our jobs away are the rich people who want to replace us with robots.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that is the ICE catastrophe and secret police bullshit, which, wait until they start. I mean, they're going to start going into every blue state for sure is going to get invaded. If he can make a pretend case off of it. And considering the man believes AI stuff about himself that he never did, like, I don't know why y'all think this is going to stop. Y'all want to act like, oh, he's just going after the criminals. There's like, out of this last raid, I don't know if it was Canal Street or Chicago, they literally arrested a bunch of people. Two of them had actual misdemeanor issues. Two out of hundreds. So like, yeah, okay, hardened criminals. Yeah, I'm waiting. Hardened criminals. Yeah, okay.
More of those people who've been signing up for ICE have a more serious record than the people they're going after.
The woman who unalives puppies is the one we should believe on this.
Yes, put full faith in a woman who unalives puppies and unalived a goat for the hell of it. I don't care what you said. I know she unalived that goat for the hell of it. To which I say, why did you do that? If you're not going to eat it, leave it alone.
Because, people who are sociopaths don't give a fuck. And she's pretty much a sociopath.
Oh, she's a sociopath, all right. And when I said eat it, I was referring to the goat people. Don't even try to act like I was talking about puppy stew.
Well, let's not even give them the idea. But so moving on from that nonsense, I know what our last topic was. We're gonna end on I don't know if this is lighthearted. This is just him destroying our history. More of
Yay.
The East Ballroom.
So
our last update for you good people is that I don't know if you've noticed, a portion of the White House has been demolished because, end quote, Oompa Loompa Man wants a pretty ballroom. And by the way,
he has no intention of leaving, so why not put in his dictator ballroom?
And it's funny because they talk about how they don't have money for feeding people in November, right? By the way, the White House Ballroom project is estimated to cost about $300 million, which was increased from $200 million. And guess who is paying for it?
I'm guessing we are, but
Taxpayers.
When the fuck did we agree to pay for that?
We didn't, by the way, but here's a fun story. Trump figured out that he didn't have to check with anybody to demolish the White House. Oh, he's supposed to, by the way. They're supposed to run plans by like the Historical Society and like make sure it's going to not destroy like landmark pieces. But he don't care. He just went ahead and did it. They don't even have the permits fucking for half the shit he's just done. But fun story. Here's where it's funny to me. And I think like it's not funny that he's destroyed a portion of our history. Not funny, right? But it's a little interesting that the portion he decides to destroy is the East Wing, which is notoriously the house or kind of the residence portion for the First Lady, and that's where her office is.
Yep, like I know Melania was probably never going to use it, but still.
it's just interesting. But like, you think about what it's been around since what, the 1800s.
Yep, all that American history gone.
It's just wild. It's like
all that pride gone. First, he destroys our beautiful rose garden. Now this, and what does he replace it with? Tacky bullshit.
By the way, this White House, because we've had other White Houses. Okay, brought to you by technical difficulties again.
Technical difficulties, the best sponsor a low budget podcast could have.
I know. So, by the way, the White House was completed in November 1st, 1800. So, literally, the man is destroying. Like, it's just wild.
Yeah, he's destroying history.
What's even funnier is when John, Speaker of the House, John, was questioned about this. He wanted to bring up the War of 1812 or something, and about how the British, set it on fire and then had it rebuilt. And I'm like, oh yeah, because that's pertinent here.
What the fuck does that have to do with any of this?
He was trying to justify. He was trying to justify, like, why Trump is allowed to. I don't even know. I don't know what his example.
Okay, Mia, because I don't know what the heck the War of 1812, when the British burned it, has anything to do with the now.
It has nothing. It has nothing to do with. It's just wild.
That makes no sense.
It's just. Oh my god. Okay,
I know, like, you probably needed a moment when you heard it, because I'm just thinking, what the damn hell? That makes no sense.
I think what we should end on is me and Crystal would not mind if a country wants to give us citizenship. We would not mind.
Yeah, we don't mind defecting at this point. Allegedly.
Right.
We allegedly don't mind.
I don't think it's allegedly, Crystal. I think it's
confirmed. We have to say allegedly for our own safety, Mia. We don't know what these people will do.
But for us wanting to get out of the country?
Yes, even with that.
Will our evil twins come after us?
Probably. We allegedly would not mind.
Oh my god. It's just well, welcome to, another day in America.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone, people. We don't get to be a part of the fun one.
Okay, so anyways, summary, everything's fucked. We have a secret police. Our leader probably allegedly has dementia. Confirmed. Allegedly confirmed. And we are just, I don't know, it's like the stupid axis of evil meets unlimited checks and balances, unlimited power, because there are no checks and balances anymore.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's going to be an uphill fight to fix all this stuff, people. And I know what me and I went over is very gloomy, but don't lose hope. It isn't over for us yet.
I mean, I don't know that I'm as optimistic as you, but I'm trying.
It's not a matter of optimism, Mia, so much as I'm ready to fight for what I want, and I'm not going to just let these people take everything away, because I know they have a lot of power in this car, but like others, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep fighting. You cannot take this away from me. My people fought and bled so that we could have more rights in this country and to push forward. We will not go back.
And it's like, I want to say I take the happy note is that every city that has had to deal with this bullshit invasion of ICE and the National Guard has really turned up and really defended their communities. And that makes me happy, because that tells me there are more people out there who love the country. And because part of loving your country is knowing when your country is fucking up and defending it against those. And I mean, it's in our Bill of Rights or Constitution, one of those, for those who are inside who would want to destroy, basically, to paraphrase it. And it's like, if you love your country, you will defend your country, even from the government that is tearing it apart. Strictly, and I do mean mostly Oompa Loompa Man, but Republicans, don't be afraid to step up here. Y'all get to take a lot of long-term credit.
Yeah, why don't y'all invade the Capitol again? Like, supposedly might be right now.
It's ridiculous. So anyways, what's coming up for the podcast? Let's talk about happy things. So
we got interviews.
We will. So last episode was about Audra Winters. If you're a book person and somehow you're listening to this, you might have stumbled upon this. We do have our book episodes separated out. So the last one was about Audra Winters, and then this one is about our little round table. And then our next episode will definitely be a book topic. I'm not sure what on. I think we have a few ideas of things we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think there were a few things we discussed. It's just we were in the middle of break when we were talking about them.
Yeah, so we have a few ideas for next book topics, but hey, if you have ideas about different topics for book stuff or politics, bring it up. We love to talk about stuff. And trust me, we will deep dive into shit. We are not afraid of rabbit holes.
That's true. We may deep dive into controversies with the gaming industry. We're game.
I mean, we do have some plans for maybe like during the holidays to talk about like Subnautica and some of the issues going on in different games. So that's
we may even stream some stuff. We're not sure yet. It's just a maybe.
Okay, so we have talked about loosely of streaming, like doing a 24-hour stream and reading Silver Elite.
We will need the video games and booze to get through that.
So, and I will even volunteer to do the reading because I know Crystal has suffered a lot. So,
Mia, I have the audiobook. We'll listen to the audiobook. I'm your friend. I would never do that to you.
Okay. So, and then on a fun note about that, Danny Francis, supposedly not AI. I found a report that they saw all the, you know how we were talking about if you haven't watched those episodes, go back, watch our Danny Francis episodes, where in the world is Danny. Anyway, so we're going to try to Scooby-Doo it.
Yeah. Sometime. And other good news, I found one nice thing to say about Silver Elite.
You did. Go for it, Crystal.
There was a book of a particular author who was not too happy about what I had to say about their book, but their book was not well constructed. It was racially insensitive.
Yeah.
And the plot was hard to follow, if any. Like, really, you would have felt like, what's the plot here? Character motivations made no sense. Yeah. But I will say, as much as I dislike and despise and never want to read Silver Elite again, so if I ever have to, Mia better pick one heck of a charity.
St. Jude's. I'll always go St. Jude's.
Yeah, that's true. We want to help the kids. But I will say, Danny Francis will always be a better author than this other author's book, because at least there was a plot with Silver Elite. I can say at least that story had some kind of plot it was following.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found one nice thing I could say.
Love it. So anyways, we are talking about doing some interviews in November.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some authors. I won't name everybody, but we're going to try to have at least 2 or 3 author interviews for November. So maybe not as many episodes, but definitely promote some of our book people.
Yes, Mia's already working on their homework.
I mean, what? So those will probably end up being, we haven't decided if we're going to film them on StreamYard and then paste them everywhere, or if we're going to do lives on Book Talk. So we will let you know probably in our next episode what we decide. So anyways, I don't know if there's any kind of happy summary out of this. I know on my end, I'm working on getting to 50K.
And I know on my end, I am getting closer to being done with my book, True Love for Christmas, which is the second entry in my Christmas Mafia series.
I know. And then I have The Orphan and Her Dragon, which is the one I'm trying to get to 50K on, which I bent Jason's ear about for like 3 hours the other night. You know what I love is that
he's been working hard on this dragon book, y'all.
He is. He's working real hard. Is that one of the things I love is that, like, as an author, half the time you don't even know what you're going to put into your book until you're talking about it like an hour or 2 hours in. And you're like, oh no, that's a good idea. I should keep that.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me. So anyways, is there anything else, Crystal, that we have missed?
We got all the world news for the most part. Like, there is some other stuff in the winds we could talk about, but then we'd be here for another 3 hours.
10 hours. 10 hours we'd be here. So, okay, you guys, let's end this with, we love you. We appreciate you. Please like, please subscribe, please comment.
Everything,
everywhere, all the time. And definitely pay attention because we have some authors we're going to be putting out there and showing off. And so
some voice actors once we get them out of Mia's basement.
I don't know what you're talking about, but anyways, this basement that doesn't exist and is not real. So we appreciate you. We want you to have the best night. Take it easy, and maybe drink some spicy juice.
Yeah, have a little spicy juice. You're gonna need it because we got a hard fight ahead.
Yeah, or if you're a health nut, have some tomato juice. Whatever floats your boat. Just
have
relax.
Some nice mango juice.
Right, that too. So have a good night, you guys. We love and appreciate you. Please please subscribe, and have a wonderful night.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.